Today's topic is turning your income into millions. Use your business as a vehicle. Whether you own your own business or maybe you are a high-powered executive, every one of you, no matter what the deal is, all of you can become millionaires. It's so easy to become rich, but you gotta change the habits at large. First thing you gotta do is you can't live high on the hog. You gotta establish your money. What I recommend you do, put 100% of your time and focus on building your business and increasing your top line revenue. That is your earned income. That money should go into investing into your business. Number two, you got to share your profits after you invested back in the business with your living and in the S&P. So understand the long game. A lot of you get so caught up in the short game. A year from now, what you think is so important won't be important. So don't worry about what people think about you. You got to learn what to do with your profits. And I told you what to do with it, but the bottom line is you got to have patience. Hey guys, welcome back to the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast with Anthony Powell. I'm excited to be here with you today. We've been doing a lot of power punched podcasts, and it's been a podcast with me. I've got two really cool guests coming up here in the next couple of weeks. So we're going to be diverting to interviews in addition to the one-on-ones that we have here. If you haven't done so, hit subscribe. Give me a like and a comment at the very end, but subscribe now because the algorithm helps. I want to help as many people as possible. Teach my $2 billion journey, but let's go ahead and get going. Today's topic is turning your income into millions. Okay, and I want to dig into this. And let's start with, use your business as a vehicle. So a lot of you guys, whether you own your own business or maybe you are a high-powered executive, or maybe you're not. Maybe you're a blue-collar worker. I'm going to talk about all of this today because every one of you, no matter what the deal is, all of you can become millionaires. Now, someone goes, yeah, well, how could you become a millionaire if you work at McDonald's? Very simple. Get 2 McDonald's jobs. One to go get an apartment and live and a basic car, and the other one in the evenings and the weekends, put 100% of that money into the S&P 500. Stay doing that for 15 years, you'll be a multi-millionaire. If you're 20 years old and at 35 years old, would you care if it took you 15 years and you worked at McDonald's or some equivalent type job and you did 2 jobs a day? Some of you guys are gonna work your brains out and not do that. But if you just did that for 15 years, took your second job, put 100% of the proceeds of your check into the S&P 500, you'll have multiple millions by the time you're 35. Can't touch it. Second job money, 100% goes into the S&P. Because you got the money going in, the compound interest, and then it gets bigger, it compounds on the top line. It's unbelievable. So just understand that it's so easy to become rich, but you gotta change the habits at large. Meaning some of you guys have a business where you're producing a ton of money, but you're spending it all. You got the sports cars, the homes, the designer clothes, the bags, but you don't have any money. And matter of fact, when the tax man or woman calls and says, hey, by the way, you owe $400,000 and you don't even have $1,000 in your checking account, or maybe you've got $25,000, it gets a little bumpy. So let's not do that. So what do you do with your profits? There's 2 things you do. You've already heard me say one, you want to take your monies and you want to put it into the S&P 500. There's several ETFs, there's VOO and there's Spider, and there's other things out there that are only thing they are is investments into the S&P 500. What is the S&P 500? It's the top 500 companies on the stock exchange, and they're in one fund. Historically, they've earned about 10% a year, and some years, like we've had 16%, 18%, 24%, and we've had 8%. I think they've only had 5 or 6 years at a negative, and those were very bad times. But historically, it's like 10% a year. Wow. If you're doing anywhere from 7 to 8% in your market returns, you're really doing amazing. Anything above that puts you into a higher risk. And of course, there's long-term portfolio holders and there's short-term traders that are making 2 to 10% a day. Depends on what type of trading you're doing. I'm more of, and I'm talking to the people today, that if you want to learn short term, I think it's fantastic. Just understand your risk tolerance. But what I'm talking to is the group of people today that are working hard at their business and their jobs. And what do I do with my money? So here it is. The first thing you got to do is you can't live high on the hog. You've got to establish your money. And just like some people go to church and tithe, that's a whole different story for me. I'll talk later about. Your tithing needs to be to your future. Now, let's say you got $1,000. Let's just take $1,000, right? You should have $500 go to your living and your advertising, and the other $500 goes to investing in the S&P. I really focus on over 50% of my monthly income investing in my funds. Now, I'm so big now, I don't put 100% anymore in the S&P. What I did was my first few million, I put 100% of my money in the S&P. Why? Because I didn't want to focus on trying to run 3-4 different things. So you got to become a master at your business, a master at your job, get better and better every week and every month and every year at what you're doing, which increases your pay over here. And that's called your earned income. And then what you want to do with that earned income, increase your lifestyle by a small amount or poquito, right? Just small. And then down the road, as you've invested into your S&P 500, you'll start seeing the money you're continuing putting in there and the compounding of this. You have got multiple millions. Now, what I recommend you do is once you get the millions stacked up, is what you do is you focus on by the time you get to like 500, you should already start to research other things that are going on in regards to funds. Sometimes you start researching 5 or 6 stocks, like maybe you've got a Nokia, an Apple, and a VRT, and 2 other things that maybe you put $250,000 into that after you get to $1 million. Put 100% of your time and focus on building your business and increasing your top line revenue. That is your earned income. That money should go into investing into your business. And as your business grows, so does your investment back into your business. You cannot rob the profits. You must grow the business. Number 2, you got to share your profits after you've invested back in the business with your living and in the S&P. Once you get to a little bit bigger, maybe you have about 100,000 saved up, start investing into what's called multi-units. Multi-units is in real estate. One of the cheat sheets I did when I was on the come up, and I didn't want to spend any money on rent. I wanted that money for my business. So I didn't want to rob my business to pay for my rent. So there's 2 things I could have done. Built a shower at my office and showered there and had slept on the floor or a cot, or a blow-up bed, or I went down when this is what I actually did, and I found a unit. The first one was a 4-plex, and then I got an 8-plex, and then I ended up with a 16-plex, which means 16-unit multifamily apartments. And what I did was, remember, it's now a business. Multifamily is a business. It's not just a real estate investment. And what the bank wants to see is, does this cash flow? I'm not going to get into the whole formula today. If you are able to have, let's say, 10% down, you have $1 million building and you put 100,000 down, and you focus on, and here comes the hack, showing the bank that the debt load is carried by the rent and the insurance and the because there's a certain formula for real estate. It's very simple. We're not going to get into it today. But if you can show the bank that the debt load's carried, they'll give you the loan 100% of the time, even if you have shitty credit. Not all banks, but most banks will, because you're not buying a single family for you to live in. It's a different set of rules. At this point, they're like, okay, this is cash flowing. If they fuck up, we're going to get the property back, and it's still going to cash flow. We're going to get our money back. So here's the second part. Once you live in it, you're not paying rent anymore. And if you spend a little bit, like maybe 1 weekend a month, you paint this part of the building, then you paint this part of the building. You do some improvements with the landscape. Guess what happens? In 2 years, you bring an inspector back out there to inspect the building. They appraise it, appraisal person, and they appraise it for $500,000 more than what you paid for it. Wow. Now what you can do is you can refinance that loan, either take that money out and go buy another piece of real estate, which I would recommend you do, and or you can pay down the note. I would go buy more real estate, but this is how you can get rich, super rich. The first part is you are living for free while everybody else is paying down your mortgage. Your investment is probably a better way to put it. So between these 2 things, S&P and the multi-unit properties, it allows you to spend 100% of your time focused on building your business. Get rid of thinking about, I'm gonna go buy designer clothes. Get rid of all that stuff. And if you want to look good on the cheap, go to Zara. You can get a lot of great looking clothes for $30, $40 at Zara, and you look amazing, right? You just got to learn how to put things together, and you can have $1 million look on the cheap. It's not like you got to be forced to go to Ross or Marshall's, right, anymore. I mean, they still have decent looking clothes too if you look through it enough. But we got Zara, H&M. You got clothes now that look expensive. If you can put it together right, it's a no-brainer. You can still, everyone still thinks you got money. You can walk in the room, demand your presence, and everything will work out. So understand the long game. A lot of you get so caught up in the short game. Remember, a year from now, what you think is so important won't be important. So don't worry about what people think about you. I had a girlfriend once, she goes, oh, I want this and I want that. And I said, really? I said, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna be able to get that for you. Oh, what are you, broke? I said, that's a really, so here you want something, now you ask if I'm broke. No, sweetie, I'm putting my money in investments for my future families. And thanks for saying, am I broke? Because you definitely won't be wifey with your broke ass. Because she thought her vagina was her currency. I don't need her vagina. I can get vagina anywhere. When I walk in the room, I demand my presence. I already know my value. She played her cards like, I need this and that. I will distribute vagina. And guess what Italians say? Get the fuck out of here, right? We don't need that. It's a game out there, guys. My last one, I said, stay focused on your money. Build your financial wall. Here, what I'm telling you is take your money and invest it, and over time, let the time make you rich. Don't be like, in Miami, I live in Miami now, so I want to say this very delicately. The whole world knows everyone down here is a bunch of fleecers and crooks. It's like wherever you go, everyone goes, oh, I love Miami. But fuck, they got a lot of crooked people down there. Why? It's because they're after the quick business, the quick hit. But guys, guess what? They may have a quick hit. The car's about ready to get towed away, but they got Lambo for the week. But guess what? Next week and next year and 5 years from now, when you're sitting on the beach and got the money coming in every month, whether you work or not, because you were patient and you stayed the course while everybody else was over there flashing the pan and trying to impress someone that doesn't know them, and you stayed consistent. That's where I'm at today. Everyone laughed at me. Everyone said, why do you have 3 pairs of jeans? Everyone said, why do you have one Rolex that you've had for 20 fucking years? All that, but guess what? I just paid cash for a Rolls Royce. Just wired. The guy goes, how do you want to finance this? I said, I got the financing bank. Oh yeah, who is it? It's Anthony Powell Financial Institution. You take wires? Yeah? Okay, great. Send it over, it'll be done. Next morning, bang, cash is in the bank. I'm a different guy. I don't need things today. I'm focused on down the road. If I don't ever want to work a day in my life ever again, that's what I wanted. I wasn't about the roller I just talked about. I want it, I love it. I'm gonna get another sports car. I love all that. That's kind of fun. You're running down the street, you have a bad call, you hear the roar of the engine, but I'm not getting it to impress you. I don't care if you like me or not, but you'll respect me because of what I'm teaching you on long-term, playing the long game. There's not a lot of me left out there, guys. There's been thousands of people I've worked with. I wish I could tell you all the names. Some of them you know, and they're dead fucking broke today. So don't buy into the hype. Build your business, increase. There's no FOMO out there. Just take your money, reinvest it. You're gonna be okay. Don't worry if you have a hard bump in the road in your business. No, everyone else did too. Invest in the S&P. I would highly recommend down the road, get a 4, 8, or 16 multi-unit real estate deal so you can get rid of your rent and just keep your head down, your ass up, and stay to work. I promise you'll be worth multiple millions. Yes, you wanna make millions off your earned income, but the real money comes from the multiplication factor of your portfolio, okay? Because that's when you work or not, you still get paid. Think of like when you're working in your business or your job, you're making money on you. When you have $1 million, there's 1 million yous making money. That's the difference of residual income and earned income. You can only max yourself out at a certain point for how much times in the day that you can exchange your time for money. That's linear income. But you need to take your linear income, or said differently, earned income, and invest it in the markets and in real estate. Now, real estate, I just told you, was real simple. I'm not asking you to swing for the fences and bankrupt yourself. I'm just telling you to get your rent for free. And other people are paying down your rent. You do some basic upkeep and you increase your value. That's just old man playing games right there. That's old real estate. I'm trying to get your rent for free so you can put your money back in your business. And by the way, you'll make 100 or 200,000 on what I taught you to do on that real estate. Refi, get another one. Just don't have to focus. Then once you get 2 or 3 units, get a property management group to manage it so you can stay focused on your business. And remember the last podcast I just did, don't get blinded by the booty and fuck up your momentum I'm teaching you here. Because guess what? There's another booty coming if this one plays with you. There's 4.1 billion booty females out there. And you're gonna lose your entire value, your entire business over one vagina. Give me a fucking break. Get some balls and grow up a little bit. Same thing for you girls. So this is a short one, but you gotta learn what to do with your profits. And I told you what to do with it, but the bottom line is you gotta have patience, okay? So give me a like, give me a subscribe, give me a comment. We've been a little aggressive the last 2 weeks, but you need to have someone that tells you the net, the real talk, because everyone's out there on social saying, look at me. But yeah, well, I see you, but let's look at your checking account. Let's look at your portfolio numbers. Let's look at, are you still here after 10 years? Are you still on top? That's what we want to know. Anyone can make 10 grand in a week. Big fucking deal. How long you been doing it? Are you still here 20 years later? I'm here 30 years later, I'm still on top. I'm on the top of my game. And I don't say that to impress you. I say that to impress upon you. Follow the fundamentals that I'm teaching you here and you'll live like you're number one forever. Okay? Thank you guys. Like, comment, and give me a subscribe. We'll see you next week, Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. We're gonna drop another pod. Bye for now.